Alright, so lesson, I believe 3. Hit pressure. Generally, when you finish an attack that hits the opponent and leaves them standing, they won't be able to do anything but block until they've completely recovered. This means that you can create a frame trap after attacks with hit advantage that don't knock down. Perform knee lunge, startup 12, immediately after low stab, hit advantage 10 for a frame trap, with a gap as small as 4 frames between these attacks. If your second attack has a startup that's faster than the hit advantage of your first attack, your second attack can connect while the opponent is still recovering. For example, Baraka can force the opponent to block Spiked Cross if he performs it immediately after hitting the low poke. So basically like a chain. This technique is known as jailing, since you're completely safe to attack and the opponent cannot perform any action except block. Most characters can hit with down 1 or down 2 to jail the opponent and create pressure. Alright, so after hitting the big... After hitting with big leg, perform doom kicks. So... if you've jailed your opponent and attacked them with high attack before they can fully recover, they won't be able to evade the attack by ducking. Oh, so you can basically stand them up to throw them? Those are like 1 frame links, right? Like back in Street Fighter 4 when you had those links. Combo attack strings like Bloodthirsty are useful for creating frame traps or jailing the opponent. After jailing your opponent with a hit, follow up with attacks that have high block advantage to create additional frame traps. This kind of sustained pressure is great for dealing block damage and keeping your opponent on the defense. Getting that coinage. Keep that coinage coming. Pressure defense. So pressure defense. When competing with the skilled opponent, you'll inevitably be in situations where the opponent has an advantage and is applying offensive pressure. There are several options to escape pressure, but you'll need to know when and how to use each effectively. When your opponent hits you with an attack that has enough hit advantage to jail you, your only option is to block until you could fully recover. If you block an attack that has block advantage, it's very risky to attack afterward because the opponent can easily put you in a frame trap and interrupt you with their faster attacks. Your safest option is usually to block. Alright. So I gotta hit him right before that low stab. Oh no, after. I was trying to interrupt the blow stab, but I have to block all three attacks. There are some opportunities to attack when your opponent has a frame advantage, though it can be risky unless your opponent is behaving predictably. Watch to see if your opponent uses high attacks to create a frame trap. You can duck under the high attack if you're not blocking and interrupt them with a duck and attack. Your opponent won't always perform a frame trap when they have block advantage. They may choose a slow attack to create an overhead or low mix-up. If you can predict your opponent will perform a slower attack, when you're at a frame disadvantage, you have a chance to interrupt them with one of your faster attacks. Down 2. Down 2. Down 2 everything. A flawless block can significantly reduce the block damage you take when the opponent is applying block pressure. You will continue to take reduced block damage after a single flawless block if your opponent continues to rapidly attack. So they want me to flawless block the third. Okay. When blocked, some combo attack strings have brief gaps between the attacks, during which you recover and have control of your character. You can perform a flawless block during a combo attack string if there's a large enough gap between attacks. Performing a flawless block can be easier during a string since the timing of your opponent's attacks is more consistent than a frame trap. So they definitely want you to sneak in flawless blocks whenever you can, but that's obviously a very risky option. Unless you could really predict someone's attacks online, I wouldn't suggest going for a flawless block unless you're 100% positive you could time it. It's just going to open you up for a longer string and more damage. But let's see. So they want us to block the 2 regular, and then get that third one with a flawless. It's a little gap though. Okay. Alright, so we got that one. Yo, what's going on, bro? If you can flawless block the first attack in a combo attack string after a frame trap, you can perform an invulnerable block attack by inputting... Oh, so that's basically right after the flawless block, they allow you to basically get them with a up 3, and that basically cancels any attack they have in it, and it basically supersedes any attack and hits them with it. It's like a flawless attack they call it or something like that. Alright. But you gotta do it instantly. As soon as you flawless block, you gotta do up 3. Can't get that third one. Ah, missed it. Got the flawless block, but didn't get the up 3 in time. Alright, so that's the up 3. It's a small window, you gotta really attack it. Once you get that flawless block, you gotta up 3 right away. So input up 4 after a flawless block to perform a block attack that lacks invulnerability but starts a juggle combo. So kind of like the get up hits that we were exploring. Basically up 2 is your get up hit when you're on the ground, and that basically starts your juggle combo. This is basically another juggle combo starter from the flawless block, which is the up 4, well, up 2. No, they I haven't done the crypt yet because I was actually waiting to do that on stream, the crypt, but they actually patched the PS4 yesterday. So no, I didn't get a chance. I haven't even stepped into the crypt yet. I think I got about 2 million coins that I'm just sitting on, just waiting to, like, I guess after I finish doing this tutorial stuff, I'm gonna probably do like a Tower of Time and then go right into the crypt and just go wild. Alright, so basically this is the up 2 flawless block option that starts a juggle combo. Got the block there. Oh, he actually interrupted. He actually interrupted my flawless. Alright. Alright, so it's just not coming out. Alright. Finally. Like, I was doing it, but I guess it was just a little late, and he was interrupting it. So when you have low health, you can perform a fatal blow. When your opponent is attacking, a fatal blow has armor that can absorb attacks during some of its startup frames, which can push through an opponent's frame trap when used as a reversal. You could basically absorb that damage, as long as it's not enough to kill. I don't think I got it. I have to interrupt the third. So yeah, the fatal blow has enough armor as long as you have health. As long as you could absorb those hits. If they're gonna kill you, then it's gonna interrupt your fatal blow and you're gonna die. But as long as you have enough health to absorb those hits, you can absorb it and then just fatal blow them. A fatal blow can armor through small gaps when blocking some combo attack strings. Use your fatal blow carefully. It's a wasteful option if the attack fails to hit, and you will still take damage from any incoming attacks that hit while you have armor. Alright, so they want us to interrupt the opponent with block 2 hits, then fatal blow. I thought we did that. Alright. Right before he... Okay. Alright. The foundation of an effective defense against pressure is knowledge of the strengths and weaknesses of your opponent's attacks. Learning to play an opponent's characters is one of the best ways to defeat them. So, obviously, you know, playing different characters, knowing the matchups, that's the best way to learn and know what your opponent is going to use against you. Obviously, if you know the character, you know what they're good at, you know what their fast attacks are, what their combo strings are, and pretty much what the character plays like. So the more you play people online, or the more you play against a certain character, the more knowledge you're going to get from that matchup. And matchups are key to fighting games. If you know the opponent, you know what to stay away from and what you could punish. And that all comes from experience. Even if you don't know the exact frame data for each opponent's attacks, it helps to learn which of their common attacks have block advantage, which have block disadvantage, and which are unsafe on block. Again, it's just really just playing people and playing characters, and you'll learn the characters and the game pretty fast. It's the only way to learn, is to play against people, really. Like, you're not going to know the exact frame data. You're not going to know that's 12 or 16 frames. But you're going to know that's not safe. Like, when you see an unsafe move, you know when to punish it. You know what I mean? Alright, you've completed the pressure defense lesson. How many more fucking... Alright, that's it, right? So I guess there's one more in strategy and that's it? Hopefully. Oh, you've been playing Sub-Zero Hardcore? Nice. Yeah, Sub-Zero is pretty good in this game. I mean, everybody's pretty good. Everybody's pretty viable, but Sub-Zero is definitely not bad. Alright, so zoning. Nice. Zoning is the strategy of keeping the opponent at a specific range when you have an advantage. This limits their options and controls the pace of the match. Zoning typically involves keeping the opponent at a long range with projectile attacks. Now, obviously, there's some zoners. Scarlet, Jade. Those are some of your even Aaron Black. Those are zoners. Those are people that are going to keep you at distance, and they want to keep you at distance in order to basically control the match, basically. So the foundation of your zoning game will be your projectile special moves. Lightning Bolt is a good attack for zoning since it travels at high speed and is safe on block at most ranges. So basically, he also has the lightning strike that comes down. Oh, you did some combo videos? Nice. Yeah, the tutorials are basically if there's basic tutorials, advanced tutorials, then there's a strategy section, and then they actually have character tutorials. If you complete all the basic, advanced, and strategy, I believe you get Shao Kahn as an announcer. If you actually complete all that, but it teaches you frame data, like different techniques that pretty much like I guess for casual fans. Obviously, if you've played fighting games long, you know some of the stuff is already kind of like it's already a given, like what's unsafe, what's not unsafe. But they did a great job explaining this stuff to, like, you know, a casual fan that's just getting into fighting games. A lot of useful material. You probably do the basic tutorials then. Yeah, if you do, once you do the basic tutorials, then you just go down, and there's the advanced tutorials, and then the strategy, and then you actually got your character tutorials, which you could actually pick a character if you're interested in learning, and actually, I think they teach you what their main combo strings are and stuff like that. So several block projectiles can be more effective than a successful hit. Each block special move deals a meaningful amount of block damage and pushes the opponent back slightly. Yeah, fucking block damage is that chip damage is a bitch in this game. Most projectile attacks are high attacks, so your opponent can duck to avoid them without taking damage. If you throw your projectiles too predictably, the opponent can easily duck and walk forward to evade your attacks and safely close distance. Adjusting the timing and frequency of your projectiles as the opponent advances to make them more difficult to predict. The fuck? It's like Duck Hunt. Alright, the opponent can also evade projectiles by jumping over them. While this can be effective, it can also be risky since they're committed to the jump for a period and can't block. Adjust the timing of your lightning bolt to hit the opponent out of the air as they land. Alright. It's easy, I mean, basically just predict the jump and then hit them as they're pretty much coming down. Oh, anti-air attacks. Oh, what a fucking attack that Raiden has. Air to air. You'll need to maintain distance to keep your zoning game going. Walking, jumping, or dashing backward while throwing projectiles can be good ways to create space if you have plenty of room behind you. The space behind you is valuable but limited resource when zoning. Retreat too frequently and you can put yourself in the corner where the opponent can easily close in. Yeah, that anti-air was sick. Alright, so you just gotta be mindful of your position in the stage, I guess. Before you get close to the corner, look for opportunities to switch sides with the opponent, giving yourself more room to retreat. A combo can give you a safe opportunity to switch sides. Alright. Alright, where the hell does that cancel? That's the question. Oh, and then you gotta teleport? Alright, I gotcha. So it's like right after he launches him, then you cancel. Well, that wasn't it. Not what I was looking for. That was it, but it didn't amplify. Not the move. Okay. Alright, when zoning, be aware of all the long-range tools available to your character. Mixing a variety of attacks makes them more difficult for your opponents to evade without taking damage from hits or blocking. Raiden can knock down and push back his opponent by amplifying his lightning bolt. A knockdown is very effective when zoning, since it prevents your opponent from moving for a time, giving you a chance to create more space, or come in and rush him down, really. Oh, he has the... Is that a low attack, or are those two high attacks? Alright, so Amplify Lightning Bolt for a mid... it's a mid attack that can't be evaded by ducking, even when blocked. Causes good block damage, pushes the opponent back the opponent, and it has more block advantage to give you time to retreat or block. Alright, Lightning Strike is an attack that must be aimed to hit an opponent at different distances. While this attack does not cover the same horizontal space as a traditional projectile, it's a mid attack that cannot be evading by ducking. Alright, let's just skip all this nonsense. Crush and blow. That is a crush and blow punish. Fighting zoners. Well, if you have a teleport, that's a great great technique there. I mean, zoners, you just have to be very patient. Block, definitely, you know, movement, you gotta jump, but you can't be predictable when you jump because it's gonna leave you open. So fighting zoners. Certain characters excel at long-range combat and zoning. These kinds of opponents will attempt to keep you at distance to maintain an advantage, but you have several options to close the gap and gain the upper hand. Fucking Liu Kang, man. Liu Kang is a bitch in this game. Though necessary at times, you want to minimize the number of projectiles attacks that you block. Each block projectile deals a meaningful amount of block damage, and pushes you back slightly to keep you at a distance. Several block projectiles can be just as effective as a successful hit, so the chip damage is real in this game. So instead of blocking, do your best to evade the opponent's attacks at range. Most projectiles are high attacks, which means you can safely duck without blocking to avoid them. Alright, so basically just low profile. Don't block low profile, because I guess you're gonna keep yourself at a high range and still take the block damage. So some of them are just some of those high projectiles are good enough for you to low profile and miss them entirely. Typically, your most reliable way to approach a zoning opponent is to duck under the high projectiles, then patiently walk forward. Right, so just low profile, keep on walking forward, but, you know, safely. Because they're also expecting you to walk forward, and that's when they'll step up with a jump in and get you some of those, get some, you know, some mix-ups in. You can also jump over projectiles, giving you an option to approach while avoiding the attack at the same time. Alright, so watch for projectiles that are mid or low attacks that can't be ducked under. These attacks must be blocked or evaded by jumping. Alright. Be aware of the weaknesses of your opponent's mid and low projectile attacks. Most cost gauge to perform or have longer startup or recovery periods that make them risky to use frequently. Well, Scarlet has a great low attack actually, and it's pretty quick. Liu Kang's low fireball, it has a slower startup and longer recovery than his fireball, giving you more time to jump over the low projectile and then duck a second high projectile. You can also use a well-timed hop to evade a low projectile. Yeah, basically hops are only neutral. You could only hop with a neutral jump, so you can't hop forward or hop backward. It's just a straight hop. Some attacks such as Sub-Zero Slide lets you advance while ducking under high projectiles. While this attack is vulnerable if blocked, it can be effective if your opponent is using high projectiles too predictably. So you could basically slide right to him to gain space, or actually even punish him. Really, if you're close enough, you could actually punish him with Sub-Zero Slide. Yeah, right. No KOF. No KOF or Blaze Blue or any of those anime games where you could hop and shit. Guilty Gear. What's going on, Kojiro? Once you've closed in on zoning an opponent, watch for opportunities to duck and punish their projectiles with a far-reaching attack. Oh, he got that poke. I'm doing the other one. Alright, so a jumping attack can also be a good option if the opponent commits to projectile attack when it's too close. Alright, so most zoners will try to retreat to maintain their ideal combat distance. You can use this to your advantage by slowly backing them into a corner. A cornered opponent has no more room to back up and keep you at a distance. Alright. You'll inevitably take some hits from zoning opponent. Do your best to not get frustrated when this happens. Play patiently, focus on avoiding more damage, and wait for opportunities to move into a range where you can fight back. Alright, if you're knocked down by a zoner, you can use a forward get-up roll to regain some ground. Alright, so remember that you're briefly vulnerable to attacks at the end of a get-up roll. If the opponent predicts your get-up roll, they can punish you with a well-timed attack. So you could trade? Is that what they're trying to... So they want you to trade and then... Alright. Alright, grounded neutral. The neutral game describes scenarios where no player has an immediate advantage and both players are free to attack, block, or move. When playing the neutral game, your goal is to land successful attacks while avoiding your opponents and put yourself in a situation where you have a positional advantage or frame advantage. Knowing the ranges of your different attacks is very important in neutral situations. When the opponent is in a space that you can hit, it becomes more dangerous for them to take an action because you can interrupt them with an attack at any moment. Basically, any type of footsie game. That's what this game really comes down to. A lot of basic fundamentals in footsies. Use the threat of your attacks to limit your opponent's options when they're in range. You don't necessarily need a hit, since some blocked attacks have frame advantage that can lead to pressure and offensive advantage. Your faster attacks are more difficult for the opponent to react to and can interrupt their actions more easily, while longer ranged attacks can threaten and control space in front of you. Observe the range of your attacks. Low jab has a 7-frame startup. Mortal Footsie, the No Socks edition. Wow. That's classic. I don't think that could even reach, can it? Classic with a K, right? We're in Mortal Kombat mode now. Yeah, that definitely has some range. 127 frame startup. Slow, but it has range. Definitely good for a mix-up overhead. Alright. Your opponent will also attempt to control space by threatening you with their attacks. You'll be more successful in the neutral game if you learn the ranges of the opponent's best mid and long range attacks. This guy's just whiffing. So a character's furthest reaching attacks will often move the character forward to cover more space. This can be very effective in neutral situations to close the gap for a combo or pressure, but it can be risky if this kind of attack misses entirely. A character is vulnerable to a punish if they miss their attack in the neutral, especially if the attack moves forward or has longer recovery. Stay just outside the range of the opponent's attacks, punish them during their recovery if they miss. Little Superman punch combo. So the opponent will not move into the range of your attacks if they use a stationary attack, but you can use a well-timed advance and attack to punish them if you're just outside the range. So most characters in this game possess some sort of weapon. It's like a 2D Soul Calibur game. So with those weapons, they also do extend the range of most of these characters' attacks. So if you notice, a lot of the characters, they'll have like a ranged attack, and most of that involves the weapons that they have, whether it be Scarlet's Blood Scythe or Sub-Zero's Ice Axe or any really weapon. It basically extends, and that's the same for most characters. Jade's, you know, Jade's fucking pole saber or saber pole. A lot of them do extend the reach of their attacks. Some characters can use weapons to extend their attack range beyond their body. This kind of attack is effective at controlling space in neutral situations, since you can attack with less risk of getting hit by an opponent that may attack at the same time. So obviously Scorpion has the Misery Blades. It's even possible to hit the extended limbs of an opponent if you can anticipate when they'll attack. When timed correctly, this allows your attack to connect with an opponent that's standing well beyond the move's normal range. Oh, so they want you to punish that whiff? Damn, that's... Oh, he won that trade. Won that trade again. God damn. too early. It's like that little frame, that little window, that little hitbox. Your far-reaching attacks can threaten a significantly larger space if you punish the opponent after they've missed with an advancing attack, especially if that move covers a lot of range and it can lead into like a combo starter, or even a one of those crushing combos. You know what I mean? If you can land one of those crushing blows, that's a lot of damage right there. Off a simple whiff. I think this is actually Scorpion's crushing combo, really. Yep. That is his crushing combo, his crushing blow. Oh, true, it is May 4th. May the 4th be with you, my friend. May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day. So in neutral play, you'll want to stay outside the range of the opponent's best attacks. While keeping the opponent inside the range of your best attacks, you'll need to stay mobile to maintain your ideal spacing. When you're just within the range of an opponent's attack, you can walk backwards and just as they strike to make them miss, giving you an opportunity to punish. Alright, so they want you to back away and then go in, basically. So you can't move and block at the same time. Evading an attack instead of blocking can create opportunities to punish. Sometimes it's better just to, yeah, like, dash backwards and you'll be safe to, like, you know, punish the attack completely. Because sometimes when you block, you do get forced into either a frame trap or you give them, the opponent, frame advantage, which basically keeps you in a block stun, in a way, you know what I mean? If you're confident that a nearby opponent will use a high attack in a neutral situation, you can evade by ducking and interrupt them with a duck and attack. Remember that you're still vulnerable to other types of attacks while ducking. Alright, give me that coinage. Give me the coinage. That's all we're doing it for. Coinage and Shao Kahn. Watch out for jumping attacks from your opponent. Alright, so this is basically an anti-air lesson. Listen to the beat in this song. You like it? You like the beat? Really? You don't like the They actually have the MK beat, the movie MK beat in the arcade stage. The soundtrack in this game is fucking fire. It's the yeah, it's the arcade stage, the tournament stage. They have the MK movie beat. But this whole game has fucking some fire music, man. Definitely feeling it. Feeling the soundtrack. All right, so watching for jumping attacks. Let's get this anti-air. All right, so they just want us to straight up block. Obviously down 2 all fucking day. That's the best way to punish down motherfucking 2. That's what everybody does online. It's straight up down to everything. Though effective jump-ins are vulnerable to attacks since a character cannot block while jumping, several of your moves are effective anti-air attacks that can reliably hit the opponent during a jump attack if timed correctly. Most characters can use, obviously, there it is, the down 2 as an effective anti-air attack because it hits an area above and in front of the character. It's a fast startup and it gives you enough time to react and attack to see your opponent jump. So let's down 2 him. Fucking down 2. Alright, so watch out for far-reaching jumping attacks that can cover a wide area, like Cabal's Blade Punch. These types of attacks can be more difficult to counter with a grounded basic attack without getting hit. Oh, they want you to down 2 this shit? Alright. Fucking down to it. I'll down to anything you want me to. Alright, that's a straight standing 1. They want to go standing 4. That's a weird punish. A standing 4? I would never use a standing 4 as an anti-air. Maybe Raiden's, but even that's kind of risky. You got to be really precise. I would go with the standing 1 or down 2. Some characters have anti-air projectile attacks that can cover a wide area and hit jumping characters from a distance. They usually have longer startup, so you'll have a harder time using them on reaction. You may have to anticipate when your opponent will jump. Alright, so they want us to hit. I think that's the lightning bolt. Oh no, that's that grab, right? That's a fucking sick grab. The upward angle of an anti-air projectile attack can leave you open to attacks from the ground. It's a neutral 1. Neutral jump 1. Alright, so a jumping attack from forward jump can cover a wider area than an attack from an upward jump. But you'll be easier to hit if your opponent anticipates your jump and uses their own anti-air attack. So they want to just air to air these motherfuckers. We're gonna straight air to air you. Oh, and followed up with a combo? Let's do it. A nice air to air exchange. Oh, that's a neutral. So they want us to neutral 1 into special. Oh, can we do that? We could just do that from the air, no? Once we land our standing 1, our jumping 1. Once we trade, we could actually cancel right into that. Oh, fuck. Too early. Alright, when are you supposed to amplify that move? What the fuck? No, I use the alternate controls. I use the Street Fighter controls, but it's back forward. God damn. Did not amplify it. You could amplify this move in the air, right? I'm hoping you can. Okay. Just gotta amplify it halfway in. Yeah, now it's just back forward. But that's if you use the MK controls. I just like to use the Street Fighter controls just because I'm used to the diagonals and shit. Am I not moving out of the way? All right. Alright, so gauge management. Your gauge is a vital resource that you'll need to carefully manage when facing a skilled opponent. Even if you have less health than your opponent, your gauge can help you gain the upper hand when used effectively. Okay, your gauge will refill over time after it's been spent. Generally, spending gauge less frequently means you'll have more of your abilities available to you more often. Try to save your gauge for opportunities that will get you the most benefit. Your offensive gauge is valuable for extending combos, but it's usually efficient to amplify only one special move per combo. Amplifying a second will add significantly less damage to the combo than the first due to damage and gravity scaling. So basically it's not worth extending a combo by amplifying two moves in it, because you're not going to get the same damage. Sometimes it's better to keep the combo string short and sweet, because you avoid damage scaling and you get more bang for your buck. The offensive gauge is also used for using the environmental stuff, and you can even amplify environmental objects. So that's also something to take into consideration. Alright, so you got... So you gotta amplify it on that last hit. Alright, so yeah, it's the last hit that you amplify that move. The hell? That window is very short to cancel that move into. Of course, the other move doesn't come out. That's 8 hits? That's an 8-hit combo. That's crazy. I'm just gonna keep on doing that combo just to learn that shit for a second. Not that I'm really playing Baraka, but not a bad combo to learn. Well, the grab is 4 hits in itself, so I guess that explains why it's 8. The fuck? Cancels in this game are so weird, man. Oh, fuck. So amplifying a blade spark to make a block pressure safe. Right, because if you... Okay, so I see what they're saying. So basically, I mean, it's still safe because you're pushing them away. But technically they could... That leaves you kind of negative. if you just do one blade spark, because they could actually while you're recovering they could jump in at you or hit you with, you know, one of those